Hello and welcome to another episode of Cascadia Mountain Weather. It's Thursday, June 27th, 2024. My name's Kyle McCrone. I'm here with Wyatt Mullen, and it's officially summertime now. So I think a lot of people are dreaming of scenes like this, but it is just the first week of summer. So we're going to start out by looking at where the snowpack is in Snowmelt. This is a picture from last year at this time, so 6/29/23. And now we're going to show you what it looks like most recently. So you can see there's a lot more snow, coming down probably 1,000 feet further around Paradise. There still is quite a bit of snow at Paradise. So, trails around Mount Rainier and many other places in the Western Cascades above 5,000 feet are still under a decent amount of snow. This graphic shows estimated snow depth, and you can see that even around Snoqualmie Pass, there's still a good amount of snow. Like hiking the Snow Lake, you'll probably cross snow. And in the higher peaks out towards, past the Kendall Catwalk and on the PCT, definitely expect to run into quite a bit of snow. This is a picture of Artist Point, which has opened, but you can see the bathroom is still like almost completely buried. So there's most of our snowtail sites have melted out at this point because most of our snowtail sites are generally around 4,000 feet or below. So we're going to take an in-depth look at a few of them. This is the Nooksack, so it's around Mount Baker in the 4,000 to 5,000 foot range. And this year, we had a very low snowpack, a little over half of normal in that area, but it looks like we're probably actually going to melt out only about a week early, maybe even a little bit less because of the cooler spring that we've had. It's the same story at Paradise, where we'll probably melt out, first week of July, so a little bit earlier than normal, but not much.
Yeah, so our snowpack is kind of hanging on and did a lot better through this spring than we expected. And we've seen that mostly because of these kind of cooler than normal and a little bit wetter than normal conditions that we've seen through most of June. We just saw another batch of rain move through in the last couple of days. We're speaking here on Thursday night. And on Wednesday and Thursday, we had some precipitation move through, especially up in kind of the North Cascades. It ended up dropping maybe half an inch to up to 2 inches. Um, and that actually meant that, I mean, like, even with that precipitation, we're getting late enough in the year that, like, almost no snow fell. Like, normally during the winter, even during the spring, with that amount of precipitation, we'd see like 6 to 8 inches of snow, maybe even a foot of snow. But now, like, it's barely kind of registering on the highest peaks near Mount Baker and kind of towards the east, where maybe an inch or two fell above 7,000 feet, or 8,000 feet. But it is really getting pretty late to see significant snow on the high elevations. Over the last month, we've seen decently wetter than normal, kind of in the 120 to 150% of normal, especially up in kind of Skagit and Whatcom County and along the crest of the Cascades. Of course, because it's June, this doesn't mean that we've gotten that much more rainfall. We've picked up maybe an inch or two, maybe three more than normal in the mountains, and in the lowlands, maybe a half inch or an inch. So it's not crazy amounts. And then temperatures have been pretty close to average for June, if not a little bit below. The screen suggesting maybe up to about 2 degrees below normal over the last month. So looking at this upcoming weekend, it's probably going to be the last, maybe not the last questionable weekend of the summer, but it does look like summer's really going to kick into gear after this weekend. Um, we generally say that summer starts on the 4th or the 5th of July, and that's probably when it's going to happen this year as well. So if we look at this weekend, this is the precipitation, 3 hour precipitation forecast going through the day. Starting in the morning on Friday, you can see that there's a couple scattered showers moving around, things that are really pretty light. There's going to be a little bit of cloud cover, but on Friday it's going to be mostly sunny, and Friday's probably your best day of the weekend. But Saturday isn't too shabby as well. There might be a little bit more cloud cover, a couple more showers, especially maybe over the Olympics and stuff like that, but it's not really going to ruin your day. And then Sunday is probably the wettest day of the weekend, but that also doesn't mean that it's going to be dumping rain. It just means that there'll be more mist around. This is likely going to be more low level precipitation, meaning that it might only be in kind of that 3, 4, 5,000 foot range. And if you get above that, you might even get above the clouds. So it might be kind of inversion-y or marine layery, where the clouds are down kind of in that 4 to 5,000 foot range. And if you get up high enough, you're in the sun. So just be aware of that, but you also might get stuck in the clouds. So Sunday's a little bit more of a kind of throwing your hands up in the air, but certainly not significant amounts of rain or heavy rain, just kind of more misty conditions. We can also look at the cloud cover. So this is looking at in the morning Friday, and you can see that we're seeing some clouds kind of build up and disappear, some high level clouds as well. That's this kind of thinner, wispier clouds that you're seeing on Friday night as we go into Saturday. Should be a decent amount of clearing on Saturday, although there might be some lower clouds that are not being picked up by this model down near sea level. And then you can see as we move into Sunday, the clouds build, especially on that west side of the Cascades. East side will probably be pretty dry, pretty cloud free, and also not too hot, at least in the upper elevation. So it could be a good weekend also if you're going out backpacking to be more on the east side, if you really want to avoid any chance of getting wet. We can also look once more at kind of this is the European model. That last one was the American model. So just different versions of what we might see. But clouds and sun is generally the rule, with a couple of light showers, especially Sunday being your worst day. Snow levels, I mean, if you see any snow, are going to be quite high. So in that 9 to 10,000 foot range. So it really won't be falling unless you're on the volcanoes. And even then, that's probably going to be up above the precipitation level. We can look at kind of in the Snoqualmie Pass area, and you'll see that temperatures are pretty close to average this weekend. Down low, they might be a couple degrees below average, kind of in the mid 60s to low 70s. Up high, similar story, maybe like mid 50s to low 60s, but pretty close to normal. 40s at night, maybe mid 30s in the upper elevations where it clears out. And then we can highlight just kind of this snow level. Again, this is a little bit shifted. This is for kind of Saturday, Sunday over here, seeing like a little bit of this precipitation in that 10,000 foot level. And then also, because it is the summer, we do have some fires going on right now, but they're pretty low level fires. So right here, we have the Pioneer Fire, which is burning on the north shore of Lake Chelan. It started a couple weeks ago. There's a chance that it might put out a little bit of smoke this weekend in that general area, but it's probably not going to spread that much. We also had a pretty small fire start up actually in Skagit County on the west side in about the last week, but it's only at about 50 acres and is mostly contained now. And you can see this is kind of our smoke forecast that we'll be looking as we go later into the summer, and hopefully we don't have to rely on it too much. But you can see that there's really not too much smoke around right now, even from that small fire burning on Lake Chelan. And then also, I mean, like we've talked a lot about the snow, but also it's a great time to go out and see the wildflowers, especially at the low elevations that have been melted out for a while, kind of below 4,000 feet. They are really popping. The rhododendrons on the Olympic Peninsula, this is probably like last weekend and this weekend was probably their peak. So they're going really strongly, and just anything on the west side is really beautiful. On the east side, it's probably a little bit higher in kind of that 4 to 7,000 foot range. Although be aware that this is mosquito season as well. So if you're going out, there is a chance that there's going to be lots of mosquitoes. And then finally, as I mentioned, it looks like next week we really are probably launching into that kind of standard summer pattern for us. Temperatures in the mid 70s to maybe low 80s in pretty dry conditions, with maybe the scattered chance of a shower every couple days. But it looks gorgeous, especially for the 4th of July weekend.
Thanks, Wyatt, and thank you to everyone who's supporting us on Patreon. So these individuals get access to more specific recreation recommendations that really complement the videos. So if that's something that interests you, we encourage you to check out our site at cascadiamountainweather.com. You can also click on the link in our show notes. So thank you, everyone, and we hope you have a good weekend.